So does that justify everything that you do?
Excuse me, let me tell you something. What do you think they were doing it for? Because they were trying to save us from poverty? No, they did it because they needed us. It's honor and family and loyalty. And some of us wanted a piece of the action. Now, we weren't educated like the Americans, but we had the balls to take what we wanted.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and welcome if you're staying up late. Thank you for joining me on this special occasion. This one's for you guys. That's what you call Grinch Punch right there. I'll share the ingredients later, but what's up, everyone? Welcome to this special Christmas edition of On the Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions. I said I wanted to do it special, and it's midnight. Merry Christmas. If you're in the East Coast, you're an hour ahead. I know you guys celebrating. If you're in Mountain or Pacific time, the countdown is on, but Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome to On the Go. Of course, I'm your host, Big Hoss, and I'm always bringing the sauce, especially on Christmas at midnight. Trees lit up in the back. Santa passed. Kids are ready to get their gifts on Saturday. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. I got an exciting show for y'all. Before we go any further, we know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can find me on X at BigHoss337. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. This show On the Go you can find on X and Instagram and On the Go _TXLA. Driving to the Top Productions, of course. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. And of course, this show is presented by Rogue Energy, the official gaming drink of On the Go. And by Poggers, the official vitamin supplement of On the Go. Pick your poison. The promo code is right there. Whether you go to poggers.shop or rogueenergy.com, there's the promo code right there, OTG, to get 10% off of your order. We got exciting today. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, here's a proper way to say Merry Christmas to everyone who's just tuning in.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Jingle bells! It's good to see you, baby!
I'm in the Christmas spirit tonight. You might see a few more clips later in the show. But let's get to it. Since I'm in the boot, we're going to start it in my neck of the woods. Well, not in my neck of the woods yet. Let's kick it off in the 504 because a lot of positivity mostly. But let's do it. You ready? Let's kick this off. Merry Christmas to the 504. We're going to start with you guys today. And let's go ahead and start with a team that put the biggest smile on my face throughout the week, and I got to witness it on Sunday. The New Orleans Saints have now won 3 in a row. They're trying to make a statement before the season closes out. They beat the New York Jets 29-6, and I was there in attendance, and let me tell you, fun experience. I want to start positive first. I will have some negative feedback I'm going to talk about, but not about the players, not about the game, none of that. No, something else that involves the game. But first, big win. Congrats to the Saints. They now on a hot win streak, 3 in a row. It's been a while since they've been on a win streak. They're now currently 5-10 of the season right now. 412 total yards in that game, 328 passing, 84 total rushing. The rushing game was not good, but hey, it's okay. They did great. Tyler Shuck, I said for weeks that guy is him. Oh, by the way, being in Louisiana, it's a hot Christmas right now. I don't know what y'all temperature is around the country, but I know it's 62 degrees, and Santa hat got to come off because it's getting hot. I got that AC blowing, but getting a little hot right here. Anyhow, Tyler Shuck, I said that guy, we found our QB1. Tyler Shuck went 32 for 49. 308 passing yards. He had 1 touchdown pass to Chris Olave for 23 yards. We even let Taysom Hill throw a pass, and his was complete. The only touchdown pass he threw. Also to Chris Olave for 38 yards. Taysom Hill did lead in rushing in that game. 12 carries for 42 yards. Audric Estime had 5 carries for 19 yards. While Chris Olave, hell of a night for him. I know my sister's happy for him. She won her fantasy football championship because of Chris Olave. 10 catches for 148 total receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Juwan Johnson, 8 catches for 89 yards. Taysom Hill had 4 catches for 36, and Mason Tipton had 4 catches for 29 yards. Let me tell you about this defense in this game. Let me get another swig of the Grinch punch. This was the best performance by this defense. Yeah, they've only gave up 2 field goals. No touchdowns were scored by the Jets. 72 total tackles, 33 solo, 8 sacks. 2 were from Cameron Jordan, I can tell you that. 11 tackles for a loss and an interception, courtesy of Jonas Sanker. He had an interception for 29 yards. This defense was on fire, but also want to give credits to Taysom Hill. He made history. The only player in the Super Bowl era to have over 1,000 yards in passing, rushing, and receiving. That's GOAT status right there. Future Hall of Famer, future Saints Hall of Famer, future Saints Ring of Honor. We love Taysom Hill. We love that guy. He can do it all. And he proved that in that Jets game when he broke that, when he put a record like no other. I was very impressed with how this team, the first half, I will admit, the first half was a little etchy. It was a field goal game all throughout the first half. Chris Olave should have had 3 touchdowns. One got called back due to a holding. Plus there's another time he could have scored, but they ruled that he was out of bounds or he didn't have possession. So he didn't have full possession when he touched the end zone. It fingertip went out of his hand. So he could have had 3 or 4 touchdowns, but refs were a little skeptical on calls. But hey, the second half, this team just woke up and kicked ass. And I said there's a possibility the Saints could win out. And with the 2 games they got left, there's a possibility. They got the Tennessee Titans coming up next on Sunday, the 28th in Nashville. The final 2 games of the season are on the road. We know the Titans have not been doing too well themselves. Yeah, they got a big win this past weekend, beating, I forgot who they beat, but I'm not going to count them out. It's going to be a hell of a performance. While I try and get their record up, I will say coming up with the Titans, it's their 18th overall meeting coming up. Saints won the last 3 out of 5, but they're looking for their first win in Nashville since 2019. Titans sit at 3-12, while the Saints go in this matchup 5-10. And the Saints are the favorite once again. 55% say that the Saints will pull it off. But like I said, don't count the Tennessee Titans out. It should be a heck of a game to watch. But I realized how terrible the Jets were in that game on Sunday. But hey, that's why I picked to go to that. And creds to the Saints bringing back the gold jerseys for their final home game of the regular season. They started their first home game with those, but they wore a special new combo. They had the black helmets back, and they finally won a game. The curse is over. They finally won a game in those black helmets. They lost 5. This was their 6th time ever wearing them, and they finally got the win. But they wore a different combo. They were gold on gold, and let me tell you, it looked pretty sick. I loved it. Some people were hating on it, but I didn't even get the right clip for that. Well, here's matter of fact, here's the ones that hated the gold on gold combo.
Off is a direction you can fuck.
I'm gonna try and stay positive on the shows, but you might hear a little bit of itchy here on this Christmas edition special. That's all the good I got to say on this show, and it was nice to see the fans. They had a good crowd with being the final home game and not getting no playoff appearance. They had about 50,000. They had about 50,000 for that final home game against the Jets. We had fun. And real talk, I enjoyed it so much. That was my first Saints game in 3 years. And that was my first time being at a Saints game that they won in 12 years. I shit you not. I miss that vibe of going in the dome and cheering them on and being in a win like that. I miss that. I miss hearing halftime after getting a touchdown and an extra point or 2-point conversion, and they go back on kickoff, that the dome was crunk. I miss that vibe. I'm so used to being in Baton Rouge. No disrespect to Death Valley, but I need to go back to the Dome more often. I had so much fun at that Jets game. Usually I'm the type of guy that likes to make at least one game a year because, back in the day when the Saints were kicking ass, it was hard to get tickets. They were so pricey. They always sold out. But lately, I always say whenever they go through bad times like this, I go make an appearance and go check them out, whether they win or lose. But man, it was real good to see them win again. It's been a long time coming, and I look forward to going back to another game in the upcoming season in 2026. So, Kellen Morris it changed things up. Yeah, we are officially rebuilding, and this team's getting stronger. And don't be surprised in 2026, they can possibly be division champ contenders, playoff contenders. Kellen Morris changed things up in the Big Easy, and I'm looking forward to seeing how successful they're going to be in 2026. Let's finish 2025 strong. We got 2 more to go to try and win out. There's a possibility we could do it. The only negative thing I'm going to say about my trip in New Orleans for that game, and I'm going to do a makeup tonight, I didn't get to have a segment that I like to call Blow the Whistle, so you're going to get 2 of those tonight. So here's my first where I say blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
I'm going to blow the whistle when it comes to expenses in New Orleans. Everything these days is so goddamn expensive. Where I used to park, I didn't park there. I used to always park by Benson Tower, that little garage right there. Used to be a nice little place to park, and you can literally walk to the Dome right there, get in and get out. Now they want to charge $65 to park right there. Get back.
Get back.
Get back!
It costs $65 to park close to the Dome. A beer is $17.50 for 16 ounce.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Don't even get me started on food prices, like loaded nachos, hot dogs, jambalaya, whatever else they sell. I suggest don't eat unless you got the money for it. Everything is so damn pricey over there. You ain't gonna find shit when it comes to cheap.
We ain't found shit.
Ain't nothing cheap in the Dome no more. So that's the only rant I got for being at that Saints game. Everything's so pricey these days. Either way, I had a great time. And we're going to keep the good times rolling because despite their last game being a loss, it's okay because I got so much positivity to talk about with these next guys. Are y'all ready? Let's talk about the New Orleans Pelicans. Let's get the ball rolling on this segment I always call Take Flight. That's the debut of that intro video right there. I finally made it. Take Flight. New Orleans Pelicans talk. In the last few games, man, the Pelicans had themselves a hot win streak. As a matter of fact, you're going to hear it tonight. They had a 5-game win streak. Five-game win streak until last night, but I said last week that they were going to have a tough battle with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've only played 4 games since last show. The Pelicans now sit at 8-23. They need just 2 more wins to get in the double win column. But let's go back to last Thursday. The game I was not ready to watch because you had to pick a side, and I'm going to feel the same way when Saturday comes. Pelicans shocked everyone. They shocked a team that was dominant in the West. They beat the Houston Rockets last Thursday in overtime, 133-128. I'm going to do a little double cross over here. I know I ain't in the 7-1-3 yet or doing light the fuse yet, but I'm going to do their numbers in that game with this. We'll start on the Pelican side since they won the game. Sadiq Bey led in points in that game, 29 points. He had 11 and 18 for field goals, perfect 4 for 4 in free throw shooting. He had 9 rebounds, but Derek Queen led in rebounds in the Rockets game with 12. Plus, he had 16 points, 3 assists, and 3 turnovers, and 3 blocks. Jose Alvarado led in assists in that game with 6, with 7 points. Herbert Jones at 18 points with 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 8 steals. Trey Murphy, 27 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. And even Zion. Hell, Zion played in these last 4 games. Zion is back now. No injuries. Every game since last week's show, he's been playing. This game, not a lot of points. He had just 9 points, but he had 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Meanwhile, on the Rockets side, losing to the Pelicans, KD led in points in that game with 32. He was 12 for 15 in field goals, 4 for 4 perfect in free throw shooting, with 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 turnovers, 1 steal, and 4 blocks. Well, Jabari Smith led in rebounds with 12. Plus, he had 12 points, 2 assists, and 4 turnovers. But Şengün led in assists in that game with 8, with 2 turnovers, with 28 points and 2 steals and 2 blocks. Amin Thompson, 23 points with 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 turnovers. But moving down the list, I want to make sure I get the days right. I know that Rockets game was on last Thursday, the 18th. Then they got a win over the Indiana Pacers. This was Saturday on the 20th. They beat the Pacers in Smoothie King Center, 128-109. Zion balled out in that game, led in points of 29. He was 9 for 14 in field goals, 11 for 13 in free throw shooting. Derek Queen, though, led in rebounds with 10, plus he had 17 points, 4 assists, 2 turnovers. Jordan Poole led in assists with 6 against the Pacers, plus he had 2 turnovers and 16 points. Sadiq Bey, 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Trey Murphy, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 turnovers against the Indiana Pacers. Then on Monday, the 22nd, they were at home until tomorrow. It's Thursday now, until tomorrow. They hosted Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks division matchup. Hell of a game, too, but they got the victory over the Dallas Mavericks. 119-113. Hell of a game, 6-point game. Zion led in this game again with points. He had 24 points, 10 for 14 in field goals, and a perfect 4 for 4 in free throw shooting. Derek Queen led in rebounds with 10. He had 6 assists, 3 turnovers with 19 points. And he led in assists in that game. Sadiq Bey, 19 points and 7 rebounds. Jeremiah Fields, 12 points with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. And then last night, the streak ended, but I think they could keep on winning when the time comes. They did fall to the Cleveland Cavaliers on the 23rd, 141-118 in Cleveland. And I guarantee you this would have been in New Orleans. I think they'd handled this. But Zion in that game, stay positive. Zion at 26 points. He led 9 for 15 in field goals, 8 for 9 in free throw shooting. He 5 rebounds, 3 turnovers, and 1 steal. But Derek Queen led in rebounds with 7, with 5 assists, 21 points. And Trey Murphy had 14 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 turnovers. Also, Derek Queen led in assists in that game against Cleveland. All right, what's next for the Pelicans until next show? Well, they're going to have back-to-back games with the Phoenix Suns at Smoothie King Center, Friday the 26th and Saturday the 27th. Monday, they're going to host the New York Knicks. It'll be their final home game before going into the new year. And then New Year's Eve, they go to Chicago to close out 2025 against the Chicago Bulls. So 4 more games coming up for the New Orleans Pelicans. That's just to close out the year. I'm actually going to be talking about 3 games because, spoiler alert, last show for 2025 is going to be a day early. It's another week in a row. Won't be on a Wednesday night. I'm going to do my final show of the year on a Tuesday night, December 30th. I'll explain more later in the show. All right, but one more thing to talk about New Orleans-wise before we move any further. Now, this is where the sad part, well, let's say the sad part come. I think we all saw this one coming. But we're going to wrap up Tulane. This will probably be the last time I'm going to talk about Tulane on this show until next season. But Tulane played Ole Miss for a second time this season. They played them in a college football playoff matchup. And sadly, their season fell because once again, they went to the Grove and they fell to Ole Miss in the first round of the college football playoffs, 41-10. So that wraps up Tulane's season. Not a bad season, though. They finished the 2025 season with an overall record of 11-3, conference record of 7-1, and the American Conference champions with a college football playoff appearance. A few numbers in this game: 421 total yards, 306 passing, 115 rushing. Jake Retzloff went 20 for 35, 306 passing, 1 touchdown to Justin Reed for 29 yards, and he did throw a pick. He also had 11 carries for 24 yards, but Jamari McClure led in rushing, 15 carries for 84 yards. While on the receiving end, Shaz Preston led in receiving with 5 catches for 120 yards. Anthony Brown-Stevens had 6 catches for 57 yards, and Omari Hayes 4 catches for 52 yards against Ole Miss. Defense, 64 total tackles, 40 solo, 2 sacks, and 4 tackles for a loss. I wanted to see an underdog story come and move on to the next one, but I think we all knew in our hearts that they were going to fall in the playoffs, and Ole Miss moves on and plays. But this would have been big. If Tulane would have won this game, they'd have got to play the next one in their own city, in their former home, just about 2 miles away from their campus. They'd have been in the Superdome, their second home, to take on the Georgia Bulldogs, who got that first round bye. We'll talk more about that later. But that's all the New Orleans talk I got for this Christmas edition. Let's move on out to Tigerland. Let's take it to the 225. Let's go. Now we in the 225. We're going to do some LSU basketball first. Here's the segment I like to call the PMAX Show. This segment called the PMAX Show, where I do my LSU basketball talk. And I ain't going to have much to talk about in here. I think I'm only going to have to talk about 2 boys matchups and 1 girls matchup. So we'll start with the boys. They had 2 games since last stream, and they were both at the box, not the box, at the PMAC. No, LSU baseball, it's coming right around the corner. They took on Southeastern Louisiana back on Friday, December 19th. They beat the Lions 78-65. Couple numbers in this game. Well, I ain't got to say much. Markel Sutton led in that game with 19 points, 7 for 9 in field goals, 3 for 4 in free throw shooting. Plus, he led in rebounds with 9, while Deaton Thomas Jr. led in assists with 4. He also had 3 turnovers and 14 points and 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Mike Nwako had 18 points and 6 rebounds against the Lions. And then on Monday, the 22nd, they were back at the PMAC. They got a victory over Prairie View A&M, 104-90. That was their last game they had recently. Now the LSU Fighting Tigers, Matt McMahon's Tigers, now sit at 11-1 of the season. Just only 1 loss, and that was back against Texas Tech a couple weeks ago. Their win over Prairie View A&M, Markel Sutton again led in that game with points. He had 21 points, 4 for 9 in field goals. Also led in rebounds with 11, with 3 assists and a turnover. But Deaton Thomas Jr. led in assists in that game as well with 7. 21 points and 3 rebounds. Max McKinnon with 12 points. Mike Nwako with 18 points and 5 rebounds. That's the only recap I got for the boys. They got only 1 more game left till next stream and to end 2025. They'll be back at the PMAC again. They're going to welcome in Southern Miss, who's 7-6. 7 p.m. kickoff on December 29th. Be sure to check it out. Meanwhile, Kim Mulkey's Tigers, they had just 1 game since last stream. What day was it on? On Sunday, the 21st, they got a victory over UT Arlington, 110-45. So now Kim Mulkey's Tigers, number 5, still the number 5 team in the country, still undefeated at 13-0, undefeated. They're still getting hate saying they don't play anybody. Who gives a shit? Grace Knox led in that game with points with 25, 10 for 18 in field goals. She also led in rebounds with 12, while Flau'jae Johnson led in assists with 4 and had 14 points. Amaya Joyner had 14 points in that game as well with 11 rebounds, and Elijah Fulwiley had 23 points in that game with 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 turnovers, 5 steals, and 4 blocks. They also just have one more game left until next stream and for the year. There will also be at home in the PMAC as they welcome Alabama State, who's 3-7. That matchup will be this Sunday, December 28th, 3 p.m. kickoff on the SEC Network. So you get to watch that one for free. Well, that will wrap up my edition of the PMAC show, but I do got one more thing I want to talk about LSU related. Finally, I'm going to talk something LSU football. In their final game of the 2025 season, they're going bowling with the Houston Cougars in the Texas Bowl, the Kinder's Texas Bowl. And I did it once on this topic a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to do it again. And this is where my second edition of Blow the Whistle.
Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
I'm blowing this at the family because my whole family knows LSU and UH. I love both schools. I love both teams. Football, basketball. I don't really follow Houston baseball. I know I'm going to get some shit tomorrow. When I mean shit, they're going to give me shit to mess with me in my head because I know I asked for UH gear for Christmas, mainly for basketball season. And I'm probably going to have LSU on tomorrow. So I'm probably going to get fucked with for having both sets of gear when these two teams play tomorrow. I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets.
I don't want nobody fucking with me in these streets.
You got to hate when two teams you like play each other because it's like, well, what you going to do, Big Hoss? You got to pick a side. You're going to wear the purple and gold, wear the red and white. I mean, I'm going through such pain and personal anguish.
And all this time I've been going through such pain and personal anguish. Such hell for nothing.
Give me some slack, please. But meanwhile, this is only the fourth meeting between these two. And LSU's won 2 out of 3. Yeah, the Houston Cougars have beaten LSU once. Matter of fact, they've all 3 previous games were all in Baton Rouge in Tiger Stadium. They have never played in H-Town. LSU never played them at the historic Robertson Stadium back in the day. They've never came to TDCU, but they're going to play them at NRG. Also, remember, they're going to be playing them again in 2027, week 1 of the regular season. That's already marked on the calendar. And they're going to play at NRG Stadium because they want a bigger environment for that. They're trying to get the Coug fam to show up and show out. You need a bigger venue for that. So we're going to get a little preview of that when 2027 comes this Saturday in the Kinder's Texas Bowl. One thing I can tell you for a fact, LSU is a heavy favorite, despite that Houston is ranked in the top 25. They're number 21. They got a better record than LSU. They're 9-3, while LSU is 7-5. But LSU is a heavy favorite. 67% say LSU will beat the Houston Cougars in the Kinder's Texas Bowl. And like I've said before, I'll say it again, LSU always comes first in my house. So no disrespect to Willie Fritz and the Houston Coug. I love UH, but it's always go Tigers first. LSU's going to win this game. Probably going to blow them out. But I wouldn't care if it's a close game because this has been a circus of a season with getting rid of Brian Kelly, getting rid of Joe Sloan, getting rid of Scott Woodward, starting a new quarterback. And even though we got an interim coach that's going to be going to Ole Miss next season, well, we got who we want. We got probably one of the best coaches of all time in Lane Kiffin. I am ready to kick off the 2026 season next year. 2026 is going to be something special in Lane Kiffin's first year. But to end this era, let's finish strong. Let's finish with a win. I can live with Houston losing this bowl game, but I don't think I can live if LSU loses to the Houston Cougars in the Tech. Houston's going to have a lot of support, but remember, LSU fans know how to travel, and there is a lot of LSU fans in Texas, especially in Houston. So it's going to be like a home away from home for the Fighting Tigers as well. So good luck to them this Saturday Late start time, by the way. We'll predict it again later with the other bowl games. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because I don't have much to say, but let's go to my neck of the woods. Let's go to the 337 real quick. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet because literally this matchup literally ended in the middle of my stream last week, but I said I was going to break it down as quick as possible. But yeah, about a week ago, the Raging Cajuns played Delaware in the 68 Ventures Bowl where they lost 20-13. And I'm not going to – it was just a horrible game. I know it's Christmas, but this was just how I felt about their season.
You bunch of losers! You're working with a professional here!
They're over. I hope I don't lose followers saying this. After that bowl loss to Delaware, their overall record is 6-7. 6 wins, 7 losses, 6-7. Yeah, you loving it. You're doing it right now. Couple numbers in this game: 335 total yards, 231 passing, 104 rushing. Lunch Winfield went 21 for 36, 231 passing yards. He did get a touchdown to Shelton Sampson for 8 yards, and he threw a pick. He also led in rushing, 14 carries for 40 yards. Zylan Perry had 10 for 25, and Bill Davis had 10 for 24. Caden Jensen led in receiving. He had 4 catches for 72 yards, where Shelton had 3 for 42 yards and a touchdown. Defense had 53 total tackles, 41 solo, 2 sacks, courtesy of Jaden Duggar and Cameron Whitfield, and 7 tackles for a loss. But another season down. Hey, at least they made it to a bowl. We didn't think they were going to be bowl eligible and go bowling, but they didn't get it done. It was a very sloppy game. I was watching it while streaming last week. That's a good thing their season wraps up. Unfortunately, I don't have nothing to talk McNeese because, like I said, they had no games this week. They're not going to play again until I think it's Monday the 29th. They go to Ann Arbor to play the number 2 team in the country in Michigan. Yeah. I haven't been keeping up the top 25. I remember at one point Houston was like 1 or 2. Now Michigan's the number 2 team. But yeah, Monday, December 29th, McNeese is going to Ann Arbor to play the number 2 team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines. You'll hear another edition of the Bayou Bandit Duel next week on my last stream of the year. But just to reveal it, I'm giving new updates on the show. All my basketball segments are having intro videos. This will be the shortest one right here. So here's a quick glimpse of the intro of the Bayou Bandit Duel starting next week. Very simple to make. Very easy and simple because it was hard to find a lot of McNeese highlights and recaps from basketball. I could have made it into a collab video since they were only recognized for the last couple seasons under Will Wade. So unfortunately, I just did something simple like that. Maybe it was for the best, but can't wait to talk more McNeese basketball next week. Talk about would be a shock if they can beat Michigan next week. While Michigan is undefeated 11-0, McNeese boys basketball is 10-2. Anything is possible in basketball. Well, let's go ahead and head out to H-Town. Let's go ahead and take it to the 713. Welcome to the land where it just don't stop. Trunks pop, top straps at the front end hot. Ooh, I love Houston. Like Zero says, I'm so Houston. Let's talk about the Houston Texans real quick. Took on the Las Vegas Raiders. This one kind of almost gave me a heart attack, but the Texans did get the win. They beat the Raiders 23-21. Now puts the Texans at 10-5 of the season, but they need a lot of help to try and get back on top of winning the AFC South because it looks like Jacksonville's just one win away of just clinching it. But meanwhile, Texans 270 total yards in this game, 187 passing, 83 rushing. C.J. Stroud, 23 for 35, 187 passing yards, and he had a touchdown pass to Dalton Schultz for just 1 yard in the red zone. Jawar Johnson led in rushing, 15 carries for 53 yards. Nick Chubb, 6 carries for 33 yards. While on the receiving end, Nico Collins, 4 catches for 59 yards. Christian Kirk, 3 catches for 37 yards. And Dalton Schultz, 5 catches for 35 yards and a touchdown. Defense, 72 total tackles, 32 solo, 3 sacks, courtesy of Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., and Derek Bennett. 4 tackles for a loss. And a pick 6, shout out LSU's own Derek Stingley Jr. for a 31-yard pick 6. Texas defense did okay, but this wasn't their best. I felt like, the offense was decent. Defense was making some errors, but they could have played a lot better. But they got the win. They got their 10th win of the season. They're on the cusp of trying to get back and winning the division title. I can see them in the playoffs, but I want them to go in as a division champ. And what's next for the Houston Texans? Well, we don't have to wait too long with this week 17 of the NFL being scattered around with games on Christmas, games on Saturdays and Sundays. Texans are going to LA to play the Chargers in their 11th overall meeting, and they're going to play on a Saturday, the 27th at SoFi. Texans won the last 3 of the 5 against the Chargers. This is going to be a hell of a game where it can go either way, but if I have the Texans winning this game, it's going to be a very close matchup. Like, it could be a 2-point game, 3-point. It could be a 1-point game. But I could see a lot of points scored in that one. I'll go ahead and say off a limb, I think it's going to be like 35-33 Texans over the Chargers when we get there. That's all the Houston Texans talk I got right now. Let's talk Houston Cougars, man. This is the Red Alert.
Go Cougs, this a Red Alert.
It's all about the Cougars. It's all about the Cougars.
So you heard my take on the Houston Cougars playing LSU in football. Let's talk Cougars basketball, because they only had 1 game since last stream. They had a big one. This felt like a March Madness showdown. 2 teams in the top 25 going head-to-head, or even the top 15. It felt like a SEC Big 12 challenge if those were a thing. Houston versus Arkansas, Cougars versus the Razorbacks. Houston got the win over Arkansas in Newark, New Jersey. They beat them 94-85 in the Never Forget. I think it was the Never Forget tournament, a little tournament they do for the 9/11 victims. The Never Forget Tribute Classic. Yeah, they did it in Newark at the Rock at Prudential, where the New Jersey Devils play. So after this 1 game they've played, this now puts the Houston Cougars at 11-1 of the season, number 8 in the country in the top 25. Manuel Sharp led in this game with 22 points, 6 for 13 in field goals, 7 for 9 in free throw shooting with 3 rebounds, while Chris Sinak Jr. led in this game with rebounds with 7. Plus, he had 9 points. Kingston Flemings, he balled out, led in the game with 5 assists. They had 1 turnover in that game, but with 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. What's next for the Cougars? Well, just 1 more game, just like LSU and McNeese. 1 more game before the year ends, and they're going to play on a Monday night. ESPN Plus, they host Mid-Tennessee or Middle Tennessee State, the Blue Raiders. 7 p.m. kickoff on ESPN Plus. Should be a cakewalk. Go Cougs. That's all the Houston Cougar talk I got. This will be my final segment before I talk about random other stuff and make predictions, but let's go ahead. This team, I don't know what's going on with this team lately. This team has been on a struggle. But let's go ahead and talk the Houston Rockets. Get the lighters out. Get the matches out, because it's time to light the fuse.
Light it up, light it up, light it up, light the fuse. Light it up, light it up.
Taking off like a rocket.
Light it up, light it up, light it up, light the fuse. Light it up, light it up, light it up,
out like a rocket.
God, I love that fucking intro I made. Well, that's what I love. What I don't love is how the Rockets have been playing in their last 9 games this month. They've only won 4 out of their last 9 this month. That now puts them at 17-9. We already recapped their game with the New Orleans Pelicans. Let's recap what happened in their second game since last stream. They played the Denver Nuggets back on Saturday, December 20th. They fell to the Denver Nuggets 115-101. But KD led in points, 31 points, 8 for 14 in field goals, 10 for 11 in free throw shooting. Steven Adams led in this game with rebounds with 12. Reed Shepherd led in this game in assists with 6, plus he had a turnover in 28 points. Jabari Smith, 22 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 turnovers. And Amin Thompson, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 turnovers. These next two, this one wasn't in. They should have won this one. I don't know how they failed to win this one. On Sunday, they fell to the Sacramento Kings in overtime, 125-124. They should have won this game. Şengün led in points with 28. He was 12 for 17 in field goals and 4 for 6 in free throw shooting. KD led in rebounds with 10, with 8 assists, 2 turnovers, and 24 points. Jabari Smith, also KD led in assists with 8. But Jabari Smith, 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. Amin Thompson also had 18 points, but with 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 turnovers. And Reed Shepherd with 15 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 turnovers against the Kings. Now, the 23rd, they were in LA playing they got curve stomped by the Clippers. Clippers, not one of the best teams in the NBA right now, but they shocked us and beat the Rockets in the Intuit Dome, 128-108. KD had 22 points in that game, 8 for 15 in field goals, 5 for 5 in free throw shooting, perfect 5 for 5. Şengün led in rebounds with 11, with 7 assists, 3 turnovers, and 19 points. Yes, led in assists too. Amin Thompson with 19 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, and 2 steals. And Jabari Smith with 16 points in that one. Well, we know what's next for the Rockets. Tomorrow, it's Christmas. It's today. 1 of 5 NBA matchups. We'll get to that in a bit. Then they're back at Toyota Saturday the 27th against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So December 27th, Houston's going to be busy. You got LSU in Houston at NRG Stadium off of Kirby. And then downtown Houston, you got an NBA matchup with the Rockets and the Cavaliers. Houston going to be busy this weekend. Traffic's going to be chaotic. Hotels are going to be booked. Everything's going to be so pricey in Houston this weekend. And then they're going to be back at Toyota again against the Indiana Pacers on Monday night, December 29th. If they cannot beat the Indiana Pacers, this team got some serious issues. Because Pacers is one of the worst teams in the NBA right now. They went from being in the NBA Finals as a runner-up to being one of the worst teams in the NBA right now. May not be the worst, but they are one of the worst. They are actually now the second worst team after how the Pelicans have been winning, had a 5-game win streak, now put them 2 spots up. I just want to see how these teams are done, like how these players are doing. I know team leaders, I'm going back to the Pelicans, Trey Murphy, this so far this season is averaging 20.6 points per game. Derek Queen is averaging 6.8 rebounds per game and averaging 4.1 assists per game, while Herb Jones averages 1.7 steals per game and Missy averages 1.1 block per game. While on the Rockets end, current team leaders, KD is averaging 25.3 points per game. Şengün is averaging 9.2 blocks and 6.9 assists per game and averaging 1 block per game. And Reed Shepherd is averaging 1.5 steals per game so far this season. That's all the 713 talk and the Houston Rockets talk I got. Since it's Christmas, I always say there's always that one professional sport team that takes over a national holiday. I always say the NFL takes over Thanksgiving, even though they do play on Christmas still. I always feel like Christmas more belongs to the NBA. College football takes over mainly New Year's. Major League Baseball, I still ain't figured that out. They got a lot of holidays in their belt. They got games around Easter, games around Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. They take over all them holidays. But it's Christmas. One thing I love to do on Christmas Day is watch NBA basketball. They usually play 5 games on Christmas Day, and we got a lineup for you. I don't usually predict basketball on the show, but I'm going to predict it today since it's Christmas. Let's start with the first game. We got Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers taking on Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks. Knicks are usually one of them teams. They usually play a game every single year in Madison Square Garden. You can kind of say they're like the Detroit Lions and the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. 95% of the time, you're going to see the New York Knicks host a game on Christmas Day in Madison Square Garden. This is one of those matchups. You can watch it on ABC or ESPN. Actually, you can watch all these games on either ABC or ESPN. Cavs coming in 17-14. Knicks are coming in 20-9. Give me the New York Knicks over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then at 1:30, this is going to be the game of the week for Christmas. This is my game of the week for the NBA. You got Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs coming in at 22-7, taking on the best team in the NBA right now, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder, who are now 26-4. The Spurs are trying to beat the Thunder for a third time this month. They've already beaten them twice. Can they do it a third time? Now that it's an OKC, I'm going to say no. This is where it ends here. I'm going with SGA and the Thunder. If this would have been in San Antonio, but another tradition, if you win the NBA Finals, you host a game on Christmas Day. So that's what the Thunder got. A third meeting this month with the Spurs. But I'm taking the OKC Thunder in this one. 4 p.m., you got Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks taking on Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. There's some drama going on right now with Draymond Green and Golden State. Dallas is coming in 12-19. Golden State's 15-15. Despite with the drama with Draymond Green, I'm going to take Golden State to win over the Dallas Mavericks. This one is kind of a toss-up. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavericks pull it off, but I'm going to go with Golden State. Then you got this game. Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets taking on LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. It's KD versus LeBron. Hell yes. Well, actually, I didn't update their record. Rockets are now 17-10. Lakers are coming in 19-9. Something tells me they're going to probably blow this one and the Lakers pull it off, but I'm sticking with the Rockets. Rockets are the favorite. 58% say the Rockets will win in LA, hopefully. But I'm going with the Houston Rockets. And then to close out Christmas night, Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. 20-10 Timberwolves, 21-8 Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets is one of the top teams in the West. I'm going to go with the Denver Nuggets at home. So I only got one road team winning, and that's H-Town. Everybody else is going to win at home. So if you love watching the NBA, enjoy it. I always love watching them on Christmas Day. Speaking of Christmas, let's talk a little bit of Christmas here. Let me catch a breather. What kind of Christmas traditions you guys have? When do you put the tree up? I know a lot of people like to go above and beyond and put it up before Thanksgiving. Me, I wait till Black Friday. When it comes to Christmas movies, that's one tradition. I start off my Christmas movie marathon that can last over a month with one of my childhood favorite Christmas movie, Home Alone. I always got Home Alone playing while I'm setting that tree up. And I pull a Kevin McAllister. I'm eating cheese pizza. I'm eating macaroni. I don't drink Pepsi, by the way. I replaced that with a DP. What kind of Christmas movies do you guys watch? Which Grinch do you like the most? You like cartoon OG Grinch from the 60s? You like Jim Carrey's Grinch, which is everyone's favorite? Or do you like that CGI one that dropped from DreamWorks? They're all three good. I'm going to go Jim Carrey's Grinch. Home Alone 2, don't get me started. I think they're both very fantastic. It's hard to pick a favorite. Do you watch Home Alone 3? I do. I consider it a Christmas movie, even though the storyline is based in January. But I give it its credit. I don't shit talk Home Alone 3. I do love the movie. It's a different plot, it's different characters, different story, even though it's still in Chicago and it's a John Hughes film. John Hughes, one of the greats. You got to go Christmas Vacation, one of the best of all time. I love that movie so much. I always wrap up my Christmas movie marathon on Christmas Eve with Christmas Vacation. With a certain few other movies I watch on Christmas Eve. A Christmas Carol from 1984 that starred George C. Scott. I love that version. Some people like Jim Carrey's CGI version from 2009, but I like the 1984 version with George C. Scott. Friday After Next. I watch that every Christmas Eve as well. And this is where I'm going to get heated on this one with people. I don't give a shit what y'all say. Die Hard is a damn Christmas movie to me, folks. And that's another one I have to watch every Christmas Eve. Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. Matter of fact, I got that on right now. You don't hear it because it's on mute. Batman Returns is a Christmas movie too. What else do I watch in my marathon? I watch Violent Night, Bad Santa 2, Office Christmas Party. What else did I watch? Hang on, I got the list right here. The mean one, that horror Grinch movie. That movie was a big crock of shit. I don't suggest you watch that. Jingle All the Way. Oh, I love Jingle All the Way. Turbo Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad. Great Christmas movie. I love watching that. Jack Frost, and I'm not talking about the horror one. The one with Michael Keaton where he died and became the snowman. Now, I really love that movie. A Christmas Story. That an instant classic. I love A Christmas Story. I watch that every year too. Harold and Kumar Christmas. I love all three Harold and Kumar movies, but I only watch Harold and Kumar Christmas during the holidays, and most of the time it's on Christmas Eve, and I watched it earlier today. The little Frosty the Snowman cartoon from the 60s. It's like a 25-minute show. It's on Peacock right now. I watched that. Oh, and Grumpy Old Men. I love Grumpy Old Men. Rest in peace, Walter Matthau. One of my favorite funny clips from 1993. That's about what I watched this Christmas movie marathon this year. Was all those. You love those? What's a Christmas movie I haven't named that you love to watch? I know people love the Polar Express. I don't give two shits for it. Christmas with the Cranks. There's a bunch of other Christmas movies I know I didn't name. Well, let's get back to some sports talk because I really don't have much left to talk before we can wrap this up and everyone can start getting ready for Santa and all that. Oh, I even watched Elf with Will Ferrell. Another good one. Let's do some college football recaps. This one ain't going to take too long. FCS recap. We already got the championship game set. It's going to be Montana State versus Illinois State. But they're not going to play till January 6th, so we're not gonna pick the game until we get closer to that. Let's just recap how these games went. Montana State, brawl for the Wild. This one was a little closer than the last meeting, but the Bobcats got the win over the Grizzlies, 48-23. While the Cinderella team, Illinois State, continues on, they beat Villanova 30-14. And they're going to play the championship game on Monday night, January 5th in Nashville at Vandy Stadium. We'll predict that when we get closer. Let's recap what we've missed so far in Bowl Mania since last stream. I know I talked about the Raging Cajuns losing. That's kind of where it stopped. Go back to the 18th, the Xbox Bowl, which I loved how the trophies were. The MVP trophies was like the notification. A little bubble. Excuse me. They give them that. Arkansas State beat Missouri State 34-28. Woo, that Grinch punch kicked in me. By the way, if you ever want to make Grinch punch, green Hawaiian punch, Sprite, pineapple juice, lime sherbet. That's the main course. If you want to put alcohol in it, I suggest whipped cream vodka. A splash of whipped cream vodka. You got yourself a hell of a drink. That's what I like to make during Christmas. That's my Christmas alcoholic beverage. If I'm not drinking beer or whiskey or anything else. Okay, moving on. Then we had the college football playoffs on starting Friday. Alabama, Oklahoma. Oklahoma blew it. We call them Choklahoma for a reason. You blew a 7. They were up 17-0 and lost 34-24. Oklahoma becomes the first team in the CFP era to lose a home playoff game. Unfortunately, Alabama moves on. They're going to go play in the Rose Bowl against Indiana, which I still don't understand how. I'm not hating it how Indiana's a super heavy favorite against Alabama. I know Alabama ain't had the season they've wanted. They've had 3 was it 3 losses? Yeah, 3 losses. They lost to Florida State. They lost to Oklahoma. Are they through? Who was the third loss? Making me go all the way down. What was that? Georgia in the SEC championship. That was the third loss. Okay. Yeah, they only had 2 regular season losses to Florida State and Oklahoma, and then they lost the SEC championship to Georgia. Okay. But we knew the outcome of that. Also, Myrtle Beach Bowl, Western Michigan beat Kennesaw State 41-6. Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl, North Carolina State beat Memphis 31-7. December 20th was 3 straight playoff games. Miami A&M, very good game. A&M blew it. Miami got the win 10-3. Miami's going to play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. These 2 were just massive blowouts. We already talked about Ole Miss beating Tulane 41-10. Now we're going to get an all-SEC Sugar Bowl game with Ole Miss and Georgia. Oregon decimating. I mean, gifted James Madison putting up some points. But Oregon got the win 51-34. Now Oregon is going to play Texas Tech in the Fiesta Bowl. Wait, not the Fiesta Bowl, the Orange Bowl. No, Fiesta Bowl is one of the Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl are the 2 semifinal games this year. Then this past Monday, Washington State beat Utah State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl 34-21. Tuesday, Louisville beat Toledo in the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl 27-22. Western Kentucky beat Southern Miss in the New Orleans Bowl 27-16. Ohio beat UNLV in the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl 17-10. And then about an hour and a half ago, this was a very good game. I don't usually watch the Hawaii Bowl, but I checked it out because it wasn't a super late start. Hawaii got a comeback win. They win the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl against Cal 35-31. I wonder how many times Hawaii played in the Hawaii Bowl. I know they hold the record. They've played in that bowl game more than any other team in the country. I wonder what that record is. Let's go ahead and predict these bowl games before we get wrapped it up with the NFL talk. We'll start with the Game Above Sports Bowl that they play in Detroit. It's been called Guaranteed. It's been called the Motor City Bowl. It had weird bowl names. We got a MAC team versus a Big Ten team. Central Michigan 7-5, Northwestern 6-6. I'm gonna go with the Wildcats. I wouldn't be shocked if Central Michigan wins it, but I'm going with Northwestern. Then we got the Rate Bowl. I hate when they play football games in baseball parks. They're playing it at Chase Field, home of the Diamondbacks. New Mexico versus Minnesota. So we got Mountain West versus Big Ten. New Mexico 9-3, Minnesota 7-5. I think we got an upset. I'm going to go with New Mexico upsetting Minnesota. And then we got the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl in Dallas at SMU. It's FIU versus UTSA. So I think this is Conference USA versus American Conference. UTSA is in the American Conference on that. I think FIU's Conference USA. But give me UTSA to win. Give me the Roadrunners over the Golden Panthers. Saturday, we got a slate of bowl games. This is going to be the most bowl games ever in one day. 7 bowl games in one day. And it starts very early in the morning. The Go Bowling Military Bowl at the Naval Academy. Pitt versus East Carolina. It's ACC versus American Conference. Shocked we don't have one of the 3 military teams in this bowl game. But I'm going with Pitt over East Carolina. Penn State and Clemson in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium. It's Big Ten versus ACC. This one was going to be a sloppy game, but I went with Clemson. I got Clemson winning over Penn State. UConn and Army in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl at Fenway Park. UConn 9-3, Army 6-6. I went with UConn. This one of my favorite bowl games. I wish I had a picture. Georgia Tech and BYU in the Pop-Tarts Bowl in Orlando. Georgia Tech's helmet got sprinkles on their white helmet. BYU's stripe across the top of their helmet got the Pop-Tart sprinkles. It looks so badass. Which Pop-Tart's going to get sacrificed at the end of the game? That's what I'm waiting to find out. But either way, I'm going with Georgia Tech. I'm going with King and the Yellow Jackets over BYU. Then we got the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl in Tucson. Miami, Ohio, Fresno State, MAC versus Mountain West. I went with Fresno State there. North Texas and San Diego State in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. North Texas is going to decimate San Diego State. I'm going with the Mean Green. And then the wrap-up Saturday night, I said LSU, Houston, Kinder, Texas Bowl. I didn't even give a score yet. LSU wins the game. I'm going to say 38-17. I'll give Houston 17 points. LSU wins 38-17 in the Texas Bowl. Then Monday, December 29th, one bowl matchup, the J-Lab Birmingham Bowl in Birmingham, Alabama. Georgia Southern versus Appalachian State. So we got Sunbelt versus – what's Georgia Southern in? They used to be in the Sunbelt. I think they moved to Oh, wow. So we got two Sunbelt teams playing each other in this bowl game. That's a first. Georgia Southern 6-6, App State 5. App State's 5-7. Well, I'm gonna go with Georgia Southern. I'm gonna go with Georgia. I've seen both teams play before, but I'm gonna go with Georgia Southern. Coastal Carolina, Louisiana Tech in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl in Shreveport. That's going to be Tuesday at 1 p.m. I'm going with Bulldogs. Louisiana Tech beats Coastal. Coastal will lose to another Louisiana team in 2025 in two different sports. All right, two more bowl games, and then we wrap up the college picks. Tennessee and Illinois in the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl. It's SEC versus Big Ten. Both teams are 8-4, but this is going to feel like a home game for the Vols. Give me Rocky Top. Give me Tennessee against Illinois. And then finally, USC, TCU, the Valero Alamo Bowl in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. USC 9-3, TCU 8-4. Remember, USC's in the Big Ten now. This ain't Pac-12 versus Big 12. This is Big 10, Big 12 football. USC is going to probably be the favorite. But I'm going with them Horned Frogs, baby. Give me TCU. All right, that's all the bowl games I got. But next week, we're going to predict the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs. Let's do some recaps of the NFL. Then we're going to wrap it up for this Christmas edition. Let me do a quick recap of week 16. I did go 8-7 in my picks. Rams and the Seahawks was definitely the game of the week. Despite that 2-point conversion call, I was so glad to see the Seahawks take down the Rams and the Seahawks win the division. Eagles, Commanders, big thank you to the Philadelphia Eagles for winning that game because of you, the Dallas Cowboys are not in the playoffs and they're not happy. Packers, Bears, dude, where did this Bear team come from? Caleb Williams is now division champion and he's going to the playoffs. Holy crap. Saints did their job. Texas did their job. Bills did their job. Titans, Chiefs. Titans only got the job done because there's no Patrick Mahomes. And there's already drama with the Chiefs. They've reached an agreement that they're going to move across the state line and go to the other Kansas City in Kansas in 2031. So the Chiefs are getting a new stadium as well. Chiefs Kingdom is not happy about it. They're making jokes. Oh, what are they going to be? The Kansas State Chiefs or the Kansas City? No, you forgot. Your sister Twin City is across the river. That's kind of like Bristol. There's a Bristol, Virginia, and a Bristol, Tennessee. You got a freaking river or a lake splitting the city in half. You got one city in this state, one city in the other. There just won't be no more NFL football in Missouri. They lost the Rams in 2016, and now they're going to lose the Chiefs in 2031. And this is the worst season they've had with Patrick Mahomes ever. Patrick Mahomes' season career ended with that injury. Hope he gets well soon. Gardner Minshew's now taking over the reins until he comes back, but I don't think the Chiefs are going to win another game under Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Chargers did their business with the Cowboys. Vikings, Giants, nothing to say. Carolina, another team trying to make noise and win the division. They took down Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield. Bengals handled their business with the Dolphins. I didn't expect the Denver Broncos to lose to the Jags. Jags need to beat the Colts to win the division, but Texans need to win their game and have a Jags loss to the Colts to even have a chance to play for a division title. Falcons beating the Cardinals made me upset. Ravens are done. Patriots handled their business. And as much as good as he's playing football, Philip Rivers, another great performance, but didn't get the win over the 49ers. That's all the talk I got. I'm going to go ahead and do these picks. But everybody's thinking, going back to with the Chiefs getting a new stadium. Saying, they're adding that skyline roof like SoFi has and Allegiant Stadium has, and what the Tennessee Titans are fixing to have in their new stadium, and the Jags when they upgrade their stadium. Something new, but not every team has an out. The Buffalo Bills are getting a new stadium, but it's an open air stadium. They're not getting a roof on theirs. Washington's supposed to get they were talking about plans to get a new stadium, and they were going to have a roof too. But there's some teams that don't need roofs, but not every team is going to have a roof. There's actually more outdoor stadiums than you think. I feel like it's kind of not really split down the middle, but there might be a little more over with dome stadiums. Or if you want to include stadiums that got retractable roofs. But we'll have another one with a skyline roof. It's going to be the future right there. All right, well, let's wrap this up. I know it's Christmas and everyone's probably going to bed, ready to wake up with some presents and loved ones and whatnot. Let's run this real quick. Week 17 of the NFL. We got 3 games today, 2 on Netflix and 1 on Prime Video. So if you want to watch NFL football on Christmas, you got to stream it. We're going to start with Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys taking on Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. I feel like there's some more Cowboy drama right now. They're not in the playoffs. Everyone's shit-talking Jerry Jones. Everybody's shit-talking Dak Prescott. I think we're going to get a Christmas miracle, and I'm going to go with the Washington Commanders. I sound crazy, but we're going to see some upsets coming soon. So I got the Commanders upsetting the Cowboys. Matter of fact, I want to see who's the favorite before we move forward. Cowboys are the favorite by 56%. So, I mean, it's a division rivalry. I think Washington can pull it off. Then we got the Lions and the Vikings on Netflix, 3:30 kickoff. Jared Goff. I'm sorry. Jared Goff versus J.J. McCarthy. Lions are 8-7. The Vikings are 7-8. It's in Minneapolis, but the Lions are a heavy favorite. I'm going to go with the Lions, too. Give me the Lions. And then what should have been, it was supposed to be Bo Nix versus Patrick Mahomes, but it's going to be Bo Nix versus Gardner Minshew. It's Broncos-Chiefs at Arrowhead. Broncos are favored by 56%. But like I said, this team, there's so much drama in Kansas City right now. Mahomes' season's done. They're not making the playoffs. They're losing. Arrowhead will soon be a former NFL stadium in the future. The team's moving across the river to Kansas. There's so much drama in Missouri that I'm going to pick the Denver Broncos to embarrass the Chiefs on Christmas. Give me the Broncos. This will be my game of the week. This will be that. These next 2 will be on Saturday. This is my game of the week. C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans taking on Justin Herbert and the L.A. Chargers. This game is 10-5 versus 11-4. This is going to be a hell of a game. I said it was going to be close. I said that I'm sticking to it. Texans beat the Chargers 35-33. Who's the favorite? Let's see who's the favorite real quick before we move forward. Well, I'll let that load up. Ravens and the Packers. Lamar Jackson versus Jordan Love. Ravens, they went downhill. I don't know what happened with them. Plus that Lambeau, I don't know how cold it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be frozen solid. Not going to be too many Lambeau leaps, but I got the Packers leaping in victory against the Ravens. Saints Titans. I said Saints win it. What was the score? If I didn't say a score yet. Oh, the Chargers are favored to beat the Texans by 51%. So it's a very tight game, back and forth. Saints beat the Titans. Oh, God. Let me think of a score. 27 to 6. I don't think they score. I think they just kick field goals. 27-6. Saints beat the Titans. Steelers and the Browns. Yeah, DK Metcalf hit a damn Lions fan, so he's out. He won't be playing this game, but I think they're going to be just fine. Give me the Steelers beating the Browns. Patriots, Jets. I saw what happened with Jets against the Saints. This team is garbage. Give me the Patriots big over the Jets. Jags and the Colts. Paul Phillip needs a win. Plus, this would help the Texans try and play for a division title if the Colts beat the Jags. So give me the Colts. Bucks and the Dolphins. I really don't care for this game. Both teams are garbage, but I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Seahawks and the Panthers. I'm going to keep my eye on this one. This could be a sneaky game. I would be shocked if the Panthers pull an upset because it's in Carolina, but you know what? Seahawks are hot right now. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks over the Panthers. Cardinals and the Bengals. Despite Joe Burrow not having no protection, I think the Bengals get it done. I'm going with the Bengals over the Cardinals with or without Jamar Chase balling. Giants and the Raiders. This was almost my toilet bowl of the week, but no, I got one worse than that. But I'm going to go with the Giants. I want to know what these teams' records are because I know these teams have not won any games in quite a while. The Giants, they're both 2-13. Okay, who's the favorite? I'm going to take I'm going with the Giants. I'm going to take the New York Giants over the Raiders. And the favorite goes to the Giants. The Giants are the favorite. Okay. Eagles, Bills. Could be a potential Super Bowl matchup.